So in here, I'm going to leave the Eureka server up and running, and let's start with the customer microservice. So pretty much open up customer main POM in here, so pom.xml. And inside, what we're going to do is, remember for our Eureka server, we added the Eureka server dependency. So let me just show you once more. So in here, so inside of this pom.xml, have a look. We have Spring Cloud Starter, Netflix Eureka server. So we kind of need the exact same thing in here. So copy that and then go to customer. And in here, I'm going to paste this in. But instead of the server, what we need is, so in here, if I press Control Space, we have the client. And this, again, is from Spring Cloud. So now we're telling that this will be the client that will connect to our server. Now reload in here and then open up customer main. So the main class or the customer application. And let's annotate this with @ and then enable Eureka and then client. Now the other thing that we have to do is open up the application.yaml. So this is how we tell it where to connect to the Eureka server. So in here, we need a couple of things. So right here after the database configuration, I'm going to say service and then URL. And inside we have the default and then zone, and this will be http://localhost 8761/Eureka. Now, what we need is to do the exact same thing for fraud. But before we do that, let's start the custom application just to make sure that everything works. So just give you a second. And in the logs, we should see that in here, have a look. So started application and have a look. We have discovery client, customer, and this is the port right here. So I'll come back to this in a second, but you can see that the application started correctly. Now, if I collapse this and then open up my web browser, and in here before, remember we had no instances available. If I reload, have a look, we have customer in here. Now, the concept is really simple. So we have customer in here, and basically this is the information on how to get to customer. Now, this name right here, application, comes from here. So make sure that you always name your applications. So here, if you change this to foo, in here, this will be foo in uppercase. Now, obviously, if you have more than one instance connected to this server, i.e. 2 customer instances, you should see that we'll have 2 instances of customer. So if I go back to IntelliJ, and in here, let me just open up the configuration, edit configuration. And what I want to do is the following. So I'm going to basically duplicate this. So duplicate custom application. And in here, just say 2. And what I want to do is add some environments, or more correctly, a program argument. So I'm going to say -- and then server dot and then port equals to, and then I'm going to say, let's say 8085. So I know nothing is using 8085. So if I apply and OK, and now I'm going to run customer application 2. So this is a second instance of customer. So run this. So you can see that we have one instance here and another one here. And this right here already connected to the server. But if I go back, now if I reload, have a look. So availability zones, we have 2. So we have 2 instances of the customer application. So this is kind of cool. And you can see that it's actually maintaining the address for all the microservices. So the first instance is available on 8080. The second instance is available on 8085. Now, I said that the whole purpose of service discovery is to eliminate the use of the port and information where the server is running. And I'm going to show you this in a second, how you're going to have microservices talking to each other through service discovery. But for now, I just wanted to show you that if you have a second instance, you'll have basically this number going up in here. So obviously we don't need this second instance. So let me just stop. So I'm going to stop customer 2. And also let me just delete this configuration in here, just like that. Apply and then OK. Now let's do the same for fraud. So I'm just going to take this configuration, open up fraud, and open up SRC, or in fact, let's just have the client. So instead of the server, we want the client, just like that. Reload in here, and then open up the main for fraud application. And in here, this should be at enable, and then Eureka client, and open up resources, application.yaml, and let's have the exact same information in here, just like that. And also, if you want, you can say fetch. So in here, you can say fetch registry equals to true, and the default is true actually. And then here, register with Eureka, and then true. So if I show you in here, so you can see the default is true for fetch registry, and register with Eureka as well true. But let's just keep these so you know exactly what's happening. So in here, if I open up customer and then paste those in, there we go. And for fraud, let's also make sure that we can run fraud. So open up the fraud application and then right click, run. There we go. And in here, we should see that now we should only have one customer available, and we also should have fraud in here. So if I reload, there we go. You can see that we have one customer application or server up and running. And also we have one fraud, which is running on port 8081. If you have questions getting this far, please do let me know. Otherwise, next, let me show you how we're going to have customer talking to fraud using service discovery.